Live from the podcast rooms in Glasgow, it's all about the Gers with Ricki, Neill, Derek Ferguson and Charlie Miller.
Hello and welcome to All About the Gers.
I love Charlie Miller.
He loves Charlie Miller.
Ferguson.
No, somebody actually put in a wee text to me saying, did they two actually like each other? But I think it was because he's had a small disagreement about Barisic.
Aye, that's
but,
what it.
but
That's
everybody's
what it
got
was.
their own opinions.
Aye, I was talking about Charlie was talking about him obviously offensively going forward. I was talking about him defensively.
Aye.
I'm not a father figure to Charlie.
But Derek's usually we're really close when Derek's on the red wine and I'm having beer.
Do you know? I remember you told me a story, Derek, about when you were in Hong Kong, and you actually said to me, Charlie looked after you.
To be fair,
Away you go.
He said that Charlie came in and you were singing songs in Hong Kong.
I could tell you, but I'm not going to tell you because Charlie cracks up. So
No.
look, it's shaking
No,
his head already.
nothing at all. But Derek used to get and Derek be sitting listening to Chinese music, music in the radio in Hong Kong, with a glass of cognac or something like that.
Brandy, it was a nice brandy. Aye, end of the night.
Singing in Chinese.
Man of many talents.
Can't even speak in
Master
English.
of none.
I know. Yeah, and you see when we're going to see your Lewis, by the way, you're going to look after me and Charlie, I think.
No chance.
Anyway, well,
By the way, and I need to laugh. I need a wee laugh. But after that, it's been a hard weekend. So I've been dead emotional. Everything that's going on with the passing of the Queen on Thursday. It was a bit of a shock. And then Friday, honestly, I've been welling up all the time.
do you know, I couldn't believe that she actually met with the new Prime Minister like 2 or 3 days before that.
2 days before.
And see the smile on her face, she looked
Mhm.
brilliant, you know, so it was some shock, but as you say, it was what a loss.
And you think for a young age, dedicating herself.
70
to her
years.
country. Aye, absolutely. Aye, amazing woman. You know, and obviously she's an iconic figure, and you sing "God Save the Queen," and obviously in the dressing room at Rangers, you know the photo of the Queen, but just shows you how much she means to you, you know, and we're passing, you know,
It
because
was strange. I watched the cricket. It was strange watching the cricket, and they were singing. Obviously, the
King,
the
Mhm.
flag at half mast and the minute silence for the Queen, and it was you could hear a pin drop. It was, and then singing "God Save the King." It was strange. Obviously, none of us have ever seen anybody. She's seen about 14 prime ministers or something.
incredible.
unreal.
Aye, so it's going to take a wee bit of time, innit, to adjust. So
But it's strange, it's like as if you actually know her, I think.
that's
You know
it.
what I mean, it's
I think that's how you you feel so emotional, and you just at times. I mean, I've had to walk out the living room times, even with the boys, sitting with the boys and my missus, you know, because I don't want to greet in front of them.
Another
You know.
thing today as well is another Queen to me. It was Coisty's mum passed today. With Jessie. So thoughts of the McCoy's family. I loved it a bit. She was a great wee woman, and I hope Coisty and family are all okay.
Aye, absolutely.
horrible
I
news.
echo that. Aye.
Horrible news. I know the more and more, like say, as you're saying, when you're watching the coverage and you're watching King Charles now, and he's out having to do, well, he just needs to go on with it. You know,
And he's
imagine
just
that was
lost
one
his-
of your mums, you know.
Aye,
and you-
and you've just lost your mammy.
Aye.
And
No
then-
longer losing your dad.
Aye.
But
and you've got to go and go through all that, make the speeches and that. So, listen, it takes a certain type, and you know, I would just. It's been horrible. It's been unreal, but it just says it, Ricki. You know, it just shows how much she means to us.
Aye, there's the gallant pioneer saying even gentleman, but he's
Evening.
actually saying that she actually seen every World Cup.
And obviously, she was all the
1932,
Aye. And all the sporting events. It was Wimbledon. You're talking about the cricket. You know, she's and she loves Scotland as well. It's been obviously, and watching all the stuff, it's well
I
documented.
couldn't believe the drive was 6 hours,
6 hours,
from
aye.
Balmoral to
Balmoral.
Edinburgh.
But then she went into Aberdeen, and it was into Dundee. And the crowds that were out. But I was up in Aberdeen at the weekend, so we had to delay coming back. But coming through Perth, it was the traffic was unbelievable. So it just shows you a lot of people headed, I think, for this area, you know, in Glasgow area, up to Dundee, you know, paid their respect. So first class.
I know it's strange, I know, like I'm thinking, what age is King Charles? Is he 75, 73?
73. Yeah.
My dad's about the same age as that, and I can't imagine my dad going out to work now.
Aye.
You know,
And
obviously,
I
King
don't
Charles
think
is
your
well
dad's-
looked after,
I was
but
going just about to say, I don't think your dad's as a nice life as Charles has
Aye.
had.
probably.
They have a privileged life, but you know, there's a lot of stress involved in that. You know, in the public speaking. You know, and everything's on you. You know, photographers, the press, everything, and they're just waiting for you to kind of make a mistake. So there is a pressure for that point of view. So no, we just listen. We wish him well, obviously, and it's strange to be saying it's God save the king.
I know. Well, there's Aaron Wilson saying he's thinking the tributes to Ibrox on Wednesday are going to be amazing. But do you know, I think we should actually sing God Save the Queen for one last time and then move straight on to God Save the King.
Ah, why not? It's just it's
Mhm.
a
Aye,
sad
I would
times.
echo that. Aye.
Sad times.
Right, I'm afraid we need to talk about football now.
Unfortunately,
I know. Derek, you were actually right. You didn't think we were going to get anything from
I actually didn't
Ajax
think we
last
were going
week.
to get anything, but I just want us to win, so I'm not going to say
Aye.
we're going to get beat.
I know. I was
just
talking
didn't
from my heart as
fancy-
well.
I know.
Aye.
My head was saying we're not going to win, but I was expecting a bit better than what that was. That was horrific. And then it's got 60 minutes to goal from corner, free header. Zonal marking absolutely kills me. I hate zonal marking. I just don't get it at all because space doesn't score goals. Just go and mark a man, go up against your man, and then go and win the header. And it kills me because Katic, we saw Katic in deadline day. We're playing Sands, who actually has done well. It's been a bit hard in the last couple of games. We don't want to end up killing his confidence. He should be in midfield with his legs and getting run about the pitch. With Lundstrom in the middle of the park, and Katic should be our centre back. If Katic isn't great in the ball, but he goes and wins his bloody headers, we have to think about Stoke conceding goals. You know, it's all right being playing open if you're winning and you're attacking, but we're not even attacking to help teams, and it's very frustrating at the moment. Definitely.
It's been with Achilles' heel, and it's clear to see that the zonal marking that Charlie's talking about is not working. So you've got to change things. I don't think we've got the personnel to have that zonal marking. You know, and I think get somebody we're best head of the ball, Goldson, and then the rest of them get with the man.
But see
mark 'em.
Goldson, yet again, he ducked.
Aye.
You know, we've
I
seen
think
it
there's a-
3 or 4
I
times
think
this
there's
season
a lack
already.
of confidence there. I think the confidence is shot a little bit at the moment.
I think
It's evident.
I think Goldson looks knackered, and so does Tavernier. I think it's just last season that's taking its toll now. We don't look as fit as we were, but it's a short pre-season, which was it's not enough time off for the boys, you know what I mean? And then it's trying to get back up to that level again. But they don't look as fit as we were last season. We really don't.
But you were right, see
Well,
that corner as well, sorry.
Aye,
Derek.
no, because Charlie was crying out last week for some of the youngsters to be given their chance.
Aye.
Now, Tav obviously has been carrying a knock the last couple of games, so I know he's our captain, but is, you know, you need to be physically at your best when you're going up against teams of the class like Ajax. So sometimes throw the boy King in, you know, and when he did, he came into the side, you know, he was brought on, he done well, so he didn't look overawed with anything. So, you know, at times, get the guys in, I know it was his, you know, sometimes he's got through games and most of the time players carry knocks, but he clearly wasn't fit.
But that's the thing. A fully fit Tavernier plays no matter what.
Mhm.
But he does look lacklustre.
Yeah.
Goldson looks lacklustre. They're not at the same level as well last season. But that's going through the whole team. Kent smiles off it. I feel sorry for Kolak. He's getting nothing in his service. No starting Arfield and things like that. And
That goal we conceded with Tav, the boy turns him and he's away. The one thing that disappoints, and everybody's pointing the finger at Tav, but for me, Golston has got to. There's a certain time, you know, he's going to sit in his area, you know, but he needs to break away from that area and go and cover Tavernier and get across. It is some hit, but I think he's got to get across and help your teammate. And I think because the confidence is short at the moment, what you tend to have is players tend to look after themselves instead of covering each other. You know, so individually we're kind of struggling a wee bit, and collectively we're struggling as well.
You know, I'll skip by the second goal because it was a bad deflection. But just
I know you shouldn't, because they've got to get closer to the opponent.
Right.
You know, first of all, it takes a deflection, but look at the build up to it. You know, we're 5-6 yards off of players. You've got to get close to people. So as it's in the build up, sometimes it's about anticipation as well. Is he going to play the ball in there? Can I get closer to my opponent, put a bit of pressure on him? We didn't do that. You know, you can say it was a deflection, quite right, but The defending up into that was poor.
It's no following runners. It's a simple part of the game. See, no following a runner. It's simple. It's laziness, or somebody else will do that to me.
Is this all coming down to the zonal marking? But
No, that's no zonal
No,
marking.
that's an open play.
Zonal marking's when you're
yeah.
for set pieces, but for normal play, you've got to follow your man. It's simple. It's the most simple thing ever. If a guy plays the ball there and it bounces it around the back, you go with your man who is marking you. It's simple. It just looks.
We spoke about the Celtic game. I've been switched on, you know, and been aware of what's run about you. And too many times in that Ajax game, we get caught ball watching, and it wasn't like good runs for the Ajax players. They were just sauntering into the area in our 18-yard box. Nobody's got them. So the awareness has got to be better. That's what I'm saying. We kind of just try to look after ourselves. We don't want to make a mistake, Bill. They've got to get that out of their head.
Well, my thing was at the beginning, I says, beginning of the season, I hope with quality rather than quantity. It looks like quantity at the moment. Obviously, Tom Lawrence has been one of the successes, but he's injured. But we've definitely not replaced Bassey, Aribo, and we're fit Morelos. Although I like Kolak, he's different from Morelos.
Big Balogun.
I've no, but they as Aribo and Bassey, they were the two that played every game, and they were strong stalwarts for us. And actually, they were amazing, very, very good players. And we've not replaced that at all. And we've not got a guy like Freddie up front who, before he got injured, was flying, and we've not replaced it.
In fact, see Bassey, and we're talking about Aribo as well. You got to remember, at set pieces for and against, they were big players for us. That physicality. Aribo, you know, people tend to think, oh, Aribo, he was terrific, driving with the ball forward, good football player. But if you look back in the games last season, he was massive for us at corner kicks for and against. We're missing that physicality.
You know, I'm just going to go back to Tav. Like, see, obviously the third goal, and we're talking about how he can't keep up. But Gio has actually said that he got a knock 3 weeks ago, and we've still been playing him. Well, whereas we've got boys that can play in that position. Should be no be starting these guys, Charlie.
Well, obviously, if Tav's want to play, he has to be fit. If you're not fit, obviously, we said before that we play with wee knocks, but if Tav's really struggling, and it looks as if he is, I don't want Tav not to be in the team, but if he's struggling, then Giovanni has to have some faith in the young boys. We don't look as if we've got a system. We actually don't, and you've got to have belief in the kids. If they're there, then play them if they're ready, and we're struggling in other areas. A fit Tav plays every game. A fit Golson plays every game. But we're not going to get these wee boys, these guys, these young kids are not going to get any better if they're looking at that and going, I can do better than that. And I'm the two biggest fans of him too.
And it's like the manager obviously knows he's carrying an ox, carrying an injury. He's going to ask him, can you play? A player is obviously going 100%. To say, of course I can play. So he's got to make that decision for him and take him out of the equation. But as I say, go back to that goal. Yep, he was found wanting, but I still think Golson is going to vacate his position and come across and help him out, and he didn't. And
but it was 35, 31 and 32. They were close goals together, weren't they? You'd think when we try to go, right, okay, let's tighten this up a wee bit, but we were all over the place. It doesn't look as if we've got any shape. We've got people playing in wrong positions. We don't look as if, but he knows what his system is, and they've got look as if they're just going out there and running about. And he's probably not even running about that much.
See how you're saying he doesn't know the system that you're talking about, Gio.
Aye. It looks as if he's not got a clue about his system. It doesn't have system, there's no.
See, getting up against a side like Ajax, I think he needed legs in the middle of the park are more defensive minded. Now, obviously, he knows everything about Ajax. They've had them watched, the dossier on them. So he would have known what to expect. So after about 15, 20 minutes watching the game, you think, wow, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I would have an Arfield on there. I would have a Jack on there. I would have a Davis. I would have flooded that midfield with midfielders. I would have sacrificed Wright, even Kent, you know, and went with kind of more dogged, determined, and try and stay with them, try and keep close to them, try and keep it. 0-0 as long as you can. Then as the game gets on, sometimes fans can turn against you. They start to get a wee bit disillusioned, and then you bring on your forward-thinking players. Under Walter, I think we would have done that.
100%. Well, what's up with going and playing the Ajax and going to a 4-5-1 and making it difficult for them?
We made it Charlie, we made it far too easy for them, and they were able to play. They talk about this now through the lines, and they did play through the lines. We should have went with certainly 2 banks of 4 guys that are just going to work, shut them down. It's, by the way, players as a player. Now the type of player, he was a flair player, Charlie. He would want to go on the ball and play, but sometimes you got to sacrifice that and just go with a workman-like performance. And that's where I think the manager should have changed that. It's great in hindsight, isn't it? But the reason I'm saying this is because the manager would have had all that information. He'd have had them watched, and he clearly must know.
Last season,
and as again, of course,
Dutch, he watches them.
So clearly, he knew obviously their strengths,
and everybody knows their methods. The way the way Ajax play, especially, and every team in Holland play with they want to pass the ball, they want to play, but we don't. We shouldn't be going there and going, okay, we'll try and beat them at a rain game. Just go and kick the shit out of them, get it in about them, and show them. Get a wee bit of sweat and snottles coming out the beak and working hard.
Do you know that? I think maybe 15 years ago we could have kicked the shit out of them, but we've got to do it a wee bit differently. I know what he means, but you just need to get close to your opposition, work them, and it's no nice as a player, but hey, it has to be done. You know,
there's David Morrison online. He's saying Gio doesn't know his best 11, which could be true, but he's got injuries as well, hasn't he?
He has got injuries. I get that, and see, to be fair, it looks as if we're going to, I think, 3-5-2, because we need to have somebody up front. We need a fit Morelos playing up front. And I don't like 3-5-2, but we've not got 3 defenders at the moment, actually. But letting Katic go bewilders me still. And no signing Balogun as well. But I just think everybody knows the way we're going to play. We're going to try and get the ball wide out to Kent. Kent's going to come inside, get the ball to Napoli, and then we're on the counter attack again. Our right's going to do the same thing, a terrible cross in, and bang, everybody's in the counter attack again.
And go back to what Charlie was talking about earlier. You know, he was talking about quantity over quality. Now, we had an opportunity to go into the transfer market before the window shut, and we didn't. You know, the manager stated he was happy with his squad, and when he says he's happy with his squad, he obviously thought they were going to be good enough, you know, to take in these obviously Champions League games, and it's clear to see we're not good enough at that level. So, and this is what I'm saying. So maybe he's made I don't know if you'll agree with me here, Charlie. He's made maybe a mistake in that respect, that he should have brought more quality. So the conundrum for him now is that he's got to find a different way of playing, a different style to nullify these good teams, to keep us in the games, to give us an opportunity to win them. So he needs to find a different way, you know, and that's what that's what the manager and the coaching staff as well, they've got to figure out how they can make right. He obviously says we've not got the quality, right? So okay, fair enough. Well, he needs to find another way of playing that can keep us in a game and, you know, gives us the best opportunity to get something out of these games.
But the thing is as well, with Davies been injured, I hope he must be back soon. Surely it was not a couple of weeks ago, but
he was on the bench
after seeing 2-4-0 hammerings. 2-4-0 hammerings. How's this confidence got to be coming into that? Shaky defence, leaking goals for fun. Oh, he must be like, oh my word, what's happening here?
It's strange. We'll move on now. We'll talk about the fourth goal. Sands passed it to Jack. I think it was a crazy pass. You could see Jack was going to be straight under pressure. Jack tries to pass it back, and it's a bad pass. They get the goal. But I actually think I don't think Sands should even pass it to Jack there.
See, to be honest with you, it's irrelevant. It's the way we try and play. But that's the way we should have been pressing Ajax. The way Ajax pressed us, that's the way we should be pressing. The Scottish football used to get pelters for being the high press all the time, pressing high and up in the pitch. But because Man City do high press up the pitch now and are quality football players, they get a round of applause for it as if they've started the high press. We've been playing high press for years and years and just never had players like De Bruyne and Haaland and things like that to do it. But Rangers should be pressing. We don't seem to press high. Or we can get into a position where we're going to press high up and then they get out the other side and they're just lackadaisical. It's, at the moment, it's horrible to watch, and it's, for me, it's
All it takes is one player.
not to be on it 100%.
What you'll have in a press is a trigger, and when one goes,
then
everybody has to go. If one doesn't do it, it just falls apart, and they'll play it through you.
And they'll know who it is.
Mhm.
For me, it's probably Kent.
Well, Kent's getting kind of slated online now with the comments, just saying he's not the player he's been, but people are asking if it's because he's due to do his contract. Do you think if you're due to do your contract, you'd be trying harder, would you know?
Oh, you think so, huh?
I mean, he's not been at it. It's clear to see what we needed the other night was somebody to keep a hold of the ball. He gets up the park, but Kent and Wright, they were poor. There's no other way of saying it, you know. So, but again, he just looks like the rest of the team at the moment. For the last couple of games, they look short in confidence.
Aye. There's a good thread online.
For fun, buffed off the ball.
Aye.
People just buffing us, man.
Buffing us. There's a.
You ever been buffed off?
Not very much. No, with us fat ass.
There's Ted McMahon on. In the last two games, no passion. The heads went down in both games.
The tin man.
The
The real
man,
hello,
aye.
Ted.
The real him, aye.
What's a man?
He watches most podcasts, so he does. But
Top
he's saying the
player.
last two games, no passion. The heads went down in both games as soon as we went 2-0 down.
And that's a worry because you've got to keep at it and you've got to have that mentality that don't feel sorry for yourself. And that's what it looks like a wee bit at the minute. You know, again, when we're conceded, you look at the players and it's the heads are down, they're not looking about each other, they're not getting after each other as well. You know, and whether that's, you know, in a kind of an angry way or else come on, let's get playing here. But
2-0, you see 2-0, Derek, with half an hour, 40 minutes to go, 2-0 at half time. We've still got a chance in the game, but we don't let ourselves get to 2-0 down at half time. We're bloody 3-0 or 4-0 down. Well, 3-0 down in the last two games. But we've not got the ability as a team to still work hard, get into half time, give ourselves a chance the second half, get it going again, 2-0 down. We get the next goal, we can get the draw, or we can go and get the victory. But we're not even giving ourselves a chance. 3-0, we're not going to come back for it.
I remember Ted scored a goal down at Dumbarton, right? So he scored a goal and he's away celebrating. We'd actually restarted the game and he was still, I think he was still in the crowd celebrating. Aye.
Was it a good goal, aye?
Aye, Ted. By the way, Ted was brilliant. He could pass 3-4 players, scalp one into the top corner. Sometimes you scalp it right out the park. I remember a reserve game. I was playing with him, and it was like I think it was only about 500 people in Ibrox, and he scored a goal at the Copeland end. But as he scored the goal, he jumped to the wee barrier up the stairs, and then he ran down out the exit, and we were like, "Where's he went to?" And he stayed in there for a couple of minutes or something. It was brilliant. Because we're not going where, is he?
Went to the stadium bar.
Do you know, I actually, when we done the last podcast, I asked him if he'd come on, but he said if he started telling some stories, he would get too many people in trouble.
Aye. But that's all right. We're not bothered that. You should get Ted on. I'd love to see Ted.
In fact, I actually did a wee drink with Ted when we did the Sanker one time. That was a brilliant wee club. I don't know if you've ever done a Q&A down there.
No.
Brilliant down there. It's closed now, but the Sanker boys are excellent. But we had a great night with Ted and he was in top form. He wasn't even one of the speakers either. He was just turned up. He was brilliant.
Great lad. So yes, Ted McMahon.
Right.
Great memories.
Obviously, because of Morning for the Queen, the Aberdeen game was cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
I was quite happy it was cancelled, to be honest.
Aye, because I thought when you look at getting gubbed with Celtic, we're getting your arse felt, let's not put it in another way, against Ajax and get up to Aberdeen. They would have been well up for it. So it's been a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you. It gives us a wee opportunity to regroup. Hopefully they've had a meeting, the manager and the players, get a few things out there, don't hold back, so there's a few questions to be asked, and probably, as we are talking about here, they need to find a different way of playing when you're playing these top clubs. Domestically, we would be fine with what we've got, but we've got to find another way. But that game, coming off of 2 heavy defeats and going up there to Pittodrie, I kind of feared the worst. So listen, so it is a blessing in disguise. So we've had the extra 3-4 days, to get our act together. I
think Gio would be happy that they didn't have a game Thursday, because we get beat up Burnley Wednesday night, which is going to be difficult enough when we struggle at home. Giovanni must have been under pressure, and I will not be surprised if McGregor's no goals on Wednesday. And McLaughlin had nothing to say with the goals, but I think McGregor will start on Wednesday.
Have you heard anything?
No, I just think he'll start.
But that was the surprise. It was only one change against Ajax.
I was very surprised.
Aye.
You just got right with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, and I think what the manager was saying, he was wanting a wee bit more pace to hit on the break, but playing right and Kent together didn't work for me.
So do you think...
What break?
No.
I think we broke one. I was second half and Barisic scored.
I know.
Honestly, we can't keep the bloody ball.
No. There's Adam Wilson. He's saying he's seen photos of Morelos yesterday and it looks like he's lost a few stone. I actually seen the same picture.
A few stone?
Yeah, but you can do it with Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about time he's got his arse together.
Well, that's the one thing. You should always be in good nick. There's no,
I can't really say
there's
that.
no, but it's different, Charlie, in this day and age. These
100%.
guys are monitored, 24/7. They've got all the best of facilities. They eat the best foods, they're nutritionists and all that. So there is no excuse.
See how you're talking about Gio there when you're saying domestically, we should be able to win this league. Obviously, I don't know if you
I'm
heard
not saying
this.
what I would say, take Celtic out of the equation there, but I'm saying against every other team, what we have got at the moment, I'm confident we can beat most of those teams. But when you go up and let's talk, we'll put Celtic in there as well. Celtic are a right good side at the moment, but there's no getting away for that. But when you're in the Champions League, it's just top draw. It's just top flight football.
Just when you heard Gio talking about how you can't compete when you're up against teams that get hundreds of millions and all that.
You just have to be competitive. Well, how does the Scottish teams feel here?
Well, that's what I was trying to compare it with.
Well, we just have to be competitive. Doesn't make a difference how many millions you spend or whatever. We get competitive games 70%, definitely away games most of the time, in the Scottish League especially, where they're competitive games. So how can we not be competitive?
It was a worry because it was quite defeatist to hear him say that.
Yeah.
And it was quite worrying because that's his job as a coach, as a manager, as what I was saying earlier to you, Ricki. It's up to you as that manager and your coaches to find another way of playing at that level against the other sides, the Hibs, the Hearts, whoever, the Motherwells. You can go out and you can be a wee bit more free in your play, but we've got to be certainly much tighter, find a certain way of playing. And I'll hark back to it. Walter used to do that. Sometimes it wasn't a great viewing, but he got results. And so that's the challenge for Van Bronckhorst. So it is.
Aye, well, obviously, the Rangers fans, some of them were already starting to go on Gio's back, and I don't know if it's too early. 2 weeks ago, he's a hero for getting us into the Champions League. Lose against Celtic, lose against Ajax, and everything changes. But
Ricki, the reason the fans are getting on his back at the moment is because, you can look at the results, but it's the manner of the defeat. The way we've been defeated. We've been out with a whimper in two of the biggest games so far this season against Celtic and Ajax. Massive games. And look the way we've not even put in a performance. So that's a worry. And then the finger pointing comes at, are they trying hard enough? Are they giving it everything? Only the players can answer that themselves. And that's how I'm hoping, with that game being cancelled, that they've had a wee clear the air talks and they've got it all out there. And that doesn't happen. If you're going to get beat, well, go down fighting, biting, scratching. Don't go down with a whimper, because these guys, fans, pay their money. They travel up and down abroad, here, there and everywhere, the merchandise. So this is what they've got to realise and get it into them, that you're not just out there playing for the other guys in the dressing room, you're playing for this support.
100%. And the thing is, although we needed the money, right, and we're saying we can't compete in the Champions League, well, the worst result for us out with the money is beating bloody PSV then. So we're standard as Europa League, we want to be at that standard. 100% not, but as Derek said, you don't go out and it's not as if Ajax are one of the best teams in the world. It's not. We played in a few games, we got a doing after Juventus, but these teams were the best in the world. You know what I mean? They were ridiculous, but we still went out and
Give a
try
good
to,
fight.
try to get right in about them. And I get sometimes you get beat 3 or 4-0, and that, sometimes these things happen. But it didn't happen twice in a row. You've got to learn for that last one. You've got to learn for February, and we're not learning. It's just the simple things. We're not learning from the mistakes, and it's costing us. And it's bloody unbearable to watch.
You can suffer a defeat like that, but it's the manner of the defeat. It was just too easy, and it looked at, and I can see where the fans are coming from, because it looked as if some of them just, it's not happening. Down tools.
Well, that's what I get. Watch the Celtic game, watch the Ajax game, and then get bloody gout on Thursday. It's been like gout for the full week. I've had, man, gout in my knee. You can hardly walk.
By the way, I used to laugh at that. I used to go, gout can't be that. So I had it about a year ago. But I was still
hellish.
Then they had to climb up 5 flights of stairs to get to the podcast room.
Ridiculous. So, but the gout week, it doesn't get any worse than that week, I'll tell you. That was definitely a Carlsberg week.
That's a rich man's kind
It's
of.
a rich man's. I've not got 2 bob.
It's a red wine, isn't it?
I don't even like red wine.
Right, there's rumours obviously starting that Gio's lost the dressing room. Don't know if they're true. Just
Rumours
keep that
that-
rumour. You've been a football manager a couple of times, Derek.
Aye, but no at that level. You know,
No.
at a lower level. Aye.
But-
So
You know, how like if you lose the dressing room, can you win it back?
it's a funny one to lose the dress, because the most important thing you can have when you're assembling a squad is, you want good football players. Of course, that's a given. But you want the right characters, good characters, and what you've got to do as a manager or as a coach, you've got to suss out if there is one or two that want to disrupt things. But you know, I always take that with a pinch of salt. You know, because cause we're all kind of looking for stuff. We're looking to make excuses, and sometimes that is lost the dressing room. To be honest, I don't really believe that. What I think is there's a lack of confidence in there. There's a lack of maybe coming for the manager.
A lack of leadership.
Because the question was posed earlier, wasn't it, about does he know his best team? I don't think clearly, doesn't he? But to answer your question, I'll try and answer it, is like, listen, if you feel that there's an individual or individuals, you call them out.
Well, that's the thing they've done though. So for last year and the year before, we've always had decent changing them. You can't say they've turned in Gio. You can't be, but obviously they turned in Morelos. They wanted Morelos out. They've done it. They've done the right thing, and they all seen it. So I would imagine there's no a rift in the dressing room. There was a rift with Morelos, and the ones who have been there, the experienced ones, and Giovanni sorted it. Now there's obviously Freddie's looks as if he's fit. He's getting back. He's maybe ready to play or whatever. So that's been sorted. Sort of. I think the rift we did have was there. I don't see there been. I'm not liking Giovanni. I don't know, but
where the Morelos thing, it was in the press that he consulted some of the more experienced players.
Yeah.
Well, who are they? You're talking about McGregor.
no, but it was the
David.
players. It was experienced players that sorted it as well. So
So sometimes that's you need the right type in your dressing room. But if you feel as a manager or coach that somebody's going to disrupt that dressing room, doesn't matter how good he is, he's out in his backside.
and I don't believe any of the new ones are signed have been that good enough yet to be disruptive. So I don't think any of them are.
Right, moving on. Napoli on Wednesday night. when the draw was drawn,
I
a lot of Rangers fans
I know
actually.
you're going to say.
A lot of Rangers fans thought if there's a team in that
Same
group,
here. Same. Aye.
we'd be able to beat them. They were amazing against Liverpool that one night.
I just didn't think there was any easy game. I thought it was the hardest group out with Group C we could possibly get. I don't see how Napoli's an easy game. I really don't. They're a threat team for years. They've got quality throughout their team, but we just have to go in and compete and gear him a game. Obviously, Osimhen's injured, but looks things, so that's good. Unfortunately for him, I'd want him to be injured, of course, but that might help us a little bit. But just go and show some passion and get right in about them. That's all we have to do. And then if you get the fans behind you, then you never know what happens. But as long as you're getting 100%, the fans will get behind you, and then that can get you that goal, that maybe not an each and mind, get a wee last minute winner or something with the fans getting you going. And it's the 12th man there, and obviously they're not going to have any fans there, which might be a help. I don't know. You don't even notice them anyway in that corner. So just have to go and show passion, grit, determination, get on the ball and be confident. I want the ball. don't want to take the ball when it's 3-0 down and it's too late.
How would you set up against them, Derek?
I would
6-4.
I would
That was Craig
I would have
leaving,
the
didn't it?
likes. I'd
He
have a
went
Davis
4-6.
in there. I would have a Jack. I would have an Arfield
Well,
in there. I'd flood it with the midfield. I would go. Charlie was saying like a 4-5-1.
I
I'm even like a 4-4-1-1.
Well, I would go Leon King and next to Goldson. If Goldson's fit. If Tav's no fit, put the other young boy in at right back. Put Sands into the middle with Lundstrom with legs and one other in there with legs to get about. And then I'd play Morelos and Kolak.
Up top.
Aye, why not? But it's a home game. We need to try and win it. If I've got any hope of staying in Europe beyond, well, after Christmas or whatever it is, we've got to go and try and win something here. We need to try and get something out of this game because I'm sure Liverpool aren't going to play as bad as they did against Napoli the other week.
I'm going to follow them again. No, I wouldn't go with Jolak and Morelos up top. I'd go with one of them, but I'd play somebody in behind where it was maybe it could be an Arfield, you know, a natural midfield that maybe will come back in, but Arfield that will run beyond because you need that threat.
I love the guys that run beyond midfielders and the Arfield does, but even go a 3-5-2 then. Just show something different, but so one-dimensional, man.
So get boys on that are fit, that are ready to play. But see all the stuff Charlie was talking about, and if you show that passion, that grit, that determination, the punters love it, they'll get behind you. But for me, that's a given in any professional football player. As soon as you cross that white line, that should be instinct right away. It's the kind of quality, right? We might maybe lack a wee bit, but then it comes down to how we play, the tactics, and that comes down to the manager. So it's that mixture of things that can keep us in this game and get us a result. But I was looking at them the day. They've no lost a pre-season game and they've no lost a league game so far.
And plus, as I said about Katic, he might not be the greatest in the ball, as we say, but the boy showed passion. He wanted to play for Rangers. He would go and win a header. He would go and win his tackles. That's what we're missing totally. You know what I mean? We have no aggression. It's so hard to see.
Sack Zonal Martin as well.
Oh, God almighty.
So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to. You know, sometimes when you hear stuff for the outside coming in, you know, sometimes you kind of go, oh, no, I'm not going to change it. You know, he can be quite stubborn, but I think he's got to. Surely the players are not happy, you know, with that setup. So hopefully one or two have maybe, you know, questioned it, you know, in the right manner, you know, at training. And hopefully all that weekend that we've just had with the football, that we've sorted a few things out and the players are more comfortable in the setup that gives us a better chance of getting something out of this game on Wednesday.
Do you know, just after the game finished last week, somebody put on Twitter, he done some kind of stat saying basically if this happens and this happens and the league by next week we could all be joint third. Something like that. I'm like, what? Joint top? And I'm like, how? Have you just watched that game? I was like, yeah.
We just want a better performance.
To be fair, it is 2 results, right? And we might be going a bit overboard, but it's just it is the manner of the defeats. That is the biggest worry. That is the worry. See if you could beat 4-0 and you could have won 5-4, then right, it's not as bad because you could have won. You could have scored 5 goals, and there's attempts at goal we should have scored here or there, but.
There's Alex Kelly online. He's saying we've been talking about this goalkeeper thing for weeks now, but he's saying, is it now time to drop McLaughlin, play McGregor in Champions League matches and play McCrory in domestic matches?
I think McGregor will be back on Wednesday. I just think he will be.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
McLaughlin never done anything wrong.
No,
last week, didn't he?
No, but there's got to be something there. That's a bit of defence when McGregor then, because you don't concede like all the time.
I'll always say in the big games you need your big players, and even at the age of 40, McGregor is still capable. And I like the experience at that level as well. Davis as well in there. As long as you've got a Lundstrom, you've got a Jack, you've got an Arfield, all these guys run about them. You know, you need that experience.
Right. Charlie, I actually forgot to ask you this, but have you ever thought about getting into football management?
I did. I applied for a couple of jobs and never got an interview with some lower league teams because I done my B licence in Belfast, and I thought after that there's no use. If you didn't get an interview, obviously my past doesn't help.
But yeah, I mean, how long have you had your academy now?
11 years.
11 years. That must be something. But
aye, well, that's been good. That's kept me going and.
I mean, that must be some experience, but the amount of boys you've seen and helped it.
So, aye, but obviously, and Derek will know as much as anybody, in the professional game, there's a lot of people in it for themselves, and they're scared to lose their jobs, and They don't want to bring people in who will maybe not agree with other things. Obviously, I would want to play my own style of football or whatever and things like that, or even at a pro youth level or whatever. I would never accept somebody just tell me I have to play this way and that way only. Because you have to be able to adapt, as in the way the game's gone. You always want the teams to play well and play good football and things like that, but
you're still young, but Charlie.
Sometimes the politics that go on, and sometimes people can stab you in the back, so they can.
Aye.
Aye. So it's cutthroat because there's so many guys out there, desperate to get into coaching jobs, get into management jobs, and sometimes it's not how good you are, it's how lucky you are, or sometimes who you know. It gets you that
opportunity. Work a laptop, which I can't do.
I can't even work my phone.
No.
Do you remember when we had Jimmy Nicol in?
Aye.
And he was talking about when he was over in Northern Ireland, and he says, you need to come down to this meeting. And he says, so I haven't even got a book or a pad or anything. And somebody says, make sure you bring your pad. And he's like, all right. He went down with the wee hotel book. And he said when he went down, it was all your Scientologists and all that. And he says, no, had iPads and everything, didn't he? Right at place.
They don't know how to change a game. Some people, some coaches, because they're looking at this iPad, what do they here? You must be able to see where's it gone wrong. Okay, I'm changing it. He's having a bloody nightmare. After you come, you must be able to see that. I don't get how you can't see it.
It's amazing how much it's changed, isn't it, in the past few years?
Oh God,
it's crazy.
His stats better than his, but he's having a horror game. But he's scored one more goal than him, so we'll take the one that's having a good game off and keep him on because he's having a nightmare. But he's got one better stat. What a load of rubbish!
I know. Do you know? I actually went to watch a football team train during the summer, and they had the things on that measure your stats and all that. And I actually had one of the boys shout to the other boys, "Make sure you get your steps in. Make sure you get your steps in." As if it's all getting obviously it's all getting analysed at the end.
It tells you how many sprints you produce during a game, how many kilometres you run, and that. It's got your heart rate, all that sort of stuff. And sometimes what Charlie's talking about, sometimes it's easier just seen with the eye, engaging how players are, whether they're tired, whether they're maybe need to be took out of the equation at times. So sometimes the technology can take it in another direction. He's talking about stats as well. Sometimes you see stats on a game and you look at a team has said something like 65-70% of the game, but the other teams won 2-0. So it just shows you, it doesn't matter if you have the ball for 70% of the game. What's the important thing is that 30% sticking in the back of the net.
That's the thing is, see Man City, their centre midfielder and their centre halves have always got the most passes per game. Right, because it just pass. But see the ones like the De Bruyne's and that, his stats won't be so good because he tries to play the killer pass, and his is the one where you go
one pass.
The one pass.
Haaland as well. Haaland only touches the ball something like 19 times during the game, but if 2 of them he puts into the back of the net.
Here's an interesting thing for Alex Kelly. With the passing of Jimmy Bell, are we missing a Scottish voice in the dressing room? And on the coaching staff, Neill McCann, Kevin Thompson, and Barry Ferguson.
What a great shout that is, by the way. I think we could be missing a wee bit of that because Jimmy just wasn't
a bit of character.
It wasn't just a kit man. He would tell you if you were playing well, if you were playing rotten. He wouldn't.
He wouldn't hold back.
Right, and sometimes you need that type, that character in there. Sometimes you look for the leaders in the dressing room for the players, but sometimes you need that character, and that's a great point. So who is it? Who's replaced Jimmy?
That's a wee guy who's
young boy, wasn't
it? Jim.
In my time, it was. I know he used to play with Morton. Aye. Sometimes it's a kit man or a guy like as an older guy. It was wee Dodie when we were there. Wee Dodie was mental. We used to take him in home, as you know, with wee Durante. Aye. But and then Jimmy replaces him, kind of an older guy, experienced guy. But Jimmy was a totally different character for wee Dodie. Dodie was a half a minute. Jimmy just gave you a look. Or else he just told you if you weren't playing well. And sometimes you need that,
I thought they would have
bring you right back down to earth.
I thought they would have brought in something.
That's a great point. That's
a good point. I thought they would have had somebody in. There was rumour, obviously, Barry. There was rumours, obviously, Thompson can resign for Kelty. There was rumour of Neill McCann.
What, Barry's kit man? I'd like to see
that's that.
But there was rumours, obviously, one of them was coming in as a first team coach, a Scottish guy. And it never materialised. I don't know whether it was because Giovanni didn't want anybody, or the top didn't want to give another coach $100,000 a year or whatever. But you need somebody Scottish. It was like when Advocate came in, John Gregg, the biggest legend at Rangers, comes in, right? John Gregg picks him up at the airport, and the next minute, the Advocate made John Gregg his kind of right-hand man. It was a great appointment for Advocate right away. Because John Gregg was working in commercial, the biggest legend in the world in Rangers history, and he's working commercial.
It's clever for Dick Advocate, isn't it?
It was.
He's obviously meeting him for that short period of time. He sees something in him that can get that dressing room pulling together. And,
Greg had just been about. See him, Greg is a great guy. I love John Gregg.
Such a nice guy.
He's the greatest Ranger of all time. But as a person and a man, he's one. I told him before he taken his heart attack, I said, "You're going to take a heart attack running on that treadmill," because he was mental on it.
I tell you what,
What age was he then?
Well, 20 years ago, 22 years ago.
I've not got a job at a man. I'll be kit man. I'll put my.
I can imagine getting that dressing room.
I think the wee guy in there, he's wanting his job.
No,
he's a good kit
I'm
man.
trying to think his name because he was a good football player,
Aye,
and he was a winger, wasn't he? He played with. I know he played with Morton as well. Well, the guys out there, they'll know his name.
They'll
No, but no one his job. We're just saying it's having that kind of older type character in there that doesn't mess about and just tells you it straight. Sometimes you need a wee bit of that.
Do you know, I was actually worried that we weren't going to have that much to talk about tonight, and we're already up to nearly 50 minutes already. So we'll quickly go into Dundee United and then we'll finish up.
Aye. Yep.
Is this when
my bed to go
is this when we try the younger players, Adam Devine, McCrory? What do you think, Charlie? Is this a chance?
Well, we need to give him a chance at some time. If Tav's struggling, bring the boy in. If they want to put Sands into midfield, where the boy's more comfortable, bring in Leon King, play him, give him a chance. We're at home. Dun United obviously got a couple of good results since the last thrashing, or one good result since the last thrashing. So they'll always up their game against us anyway, as every team does. But give the young boys a chance. Let them go and play. Let them go and express themselves and see how we go.
I says a week or 2 weeks ago it would be the ideal game to introduce the youngsters. So if there is an issue fitness-wise, no better place to let the guys go out and give them that first team experience.
But it's not going to happen because Davis was on the bench all night, wasn't he? So Davis is going to come straight back in. Unless we go to a freeway, Davis left side, Goldson centre, King right, at a free, and then.
Good.
I think he's got inside information.
No, he's been
been
saying a few things tonight. And I'm like, does he know something?
No, but you've got something in you. But I'm sure Davis, if he's on the bench on Wednesday, he's got to start now because he's ready.
Did you not find it strange that Morelos never get any game time? You know, the way that game was panning out. Sure, wasn't getting on the ball. I threw Morelos on the last half hour just to get him. But we're talking about his fitness. Just give him a wee bit of game time at least. You know, did you not find that strange?
Just get him one. How did the results go and who knows wins last week?
Are you on, Charlie?
No, it didn't happen because the games got called off.
Oh, so did that.
Aye, unfortunately. I won.
see that? It seems that long ago. I don't know why. I don't know.
That's why I wasn't sure whether to do the show tonight, but then I thought we're not going to be on next Monday, so I thought we'll do it tonight. Right, we'll do quick predictions and that's us. So who wants to go first?
Charlie.
I'm going to go 5-1
For Napoli?
Oh, I'm fighting about what you meant. Done United again.
No, Napoli first. Sorry.
Right. 5-1.
That's confident.
Jeez,
we also been out their goal threat because they struggled against Spezia on Sunday. They won 1-0.
They're no bad team. I watched them.
88th minute winner they got, didn't they? Napoli at home. So I'm going to go 1-1.
That's the scoreline I was going to go. It's we need to keep it tight. We need to play a different style of football, which is hard at Ibrox with the punters there because they'll want us to get on the front foot. But I think it's a game, and I'm going to go with my heart a wee bit more than rather than my head, and I'm going to go for a draw where it's a nothing each or a 1 each.
I'm going 2-1 Rangers.
Good,
being at Ibrox, I know we always seem to turn up. So hopefully we turn up this time.
That's a team that hasn't been beat. They have drew 2 or 3 games. Was that 6 league games they played? I think they've drew 1 or 2, but even in pre-season haven't been beat. So a draw wouldn't be a bad result. Just to get a wee bit more confidence back.
You're 5-1 for the United game.
Who for? I don't think it'll be as much of that. They might have a new manager and come Saturday as well. But I certainly think we'll win it. I'd go 2-0 Rangers. I'd take a 2-0 Rangers.
I'll go 3-0 for Rangers. And it's
Jim McAllister.
Jim
McAllister.
Jim
So it is.
McAllister.
And a good performance, right? I know I want a performance on Wednesday night and a right good performance again on Saturday. That's what we need, to get the confidence back into the boys.
So, and then we are going to take a break, obviously, because it's Queen's funeral on Monday, so we'll not be on a Monday night. So we'll be back on the following Monday, and you can catch up with us again soon. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, Twitter, socials, everything. And guys, thanks again for the night.
Cheers, guys.
That was another good show. And we'll see you again a week on Monday.
Cheers.
Cheers.